Hello and welcome to another step-by-step how to tie tutorial video. This is the CFR Sandy's Beetle. CFR is Casting for Recovery. It is an outfit dedicated to cancer survivors. And Sandy is a survivor friend of mine. She is a inspiration, a hero, and a warrior. This is tied on a size 12 dry fly hook. It's a 1x long, 3x fine Orvis hook. The tying thread I'm using is a light pink size A tying thread. For the underbody, I am using your basic Peacock Hearl. The main portion of the body is 2mm craft foam, cut at approximately 4 millimeters, which is close to the width of the gap. Those fun purple legs are blue barred crazy legs, deep purple and blue. The racing stripe on the back is 4 strands of pink thread, and the wing on there is a little tuft of pink dubbing. So let's go ahead and tie this one up for Sandy. There will be 42 of these total going out, being donated for a Casting for Recovery outing. 3 per box for 14 boxes. Alright, let's go ahead and start this off. My thread, I'm drawing a considerably long length out for a tag end. I'm going to use that for a ribbing. And like all good flies, this will begin but with just a single wrap of thread. And we can continue that on down the shank of the hook. Work that all the way to the bend. Set that off to the side. Take our thread back up to the front. There we'll tie in our 4 strands of sewing thread for that racing stripe on the back. We'll go ahead and shorten that down a little bit. Perfect. Want to make sure I line this up on top of the hook, on the back of it, especially there on the end. That way when I go to flip it forward, I have that racing stripe in the middle. Thread back up to the head, where we'll tie in our 2mm craft foam. A couple nice tight securing wraps up here in the front. And we'll take this all the way to the bend of the hook as well. Making sure to keep it centered. Again, so when I flip it over for the upper portion of the body, it comes out nice and even. Alright, cinch this down just a little bit more, working our thread up to the front, where we'll tie in our legs. And I'm going to go about a body's length for the front and for the back. Couple tight wraps, lock that in, and we'll trim off about that body's length. Can always trim it down to make it a little bit shorter and even. Just got this one piece left. So we'll tie this in on the far side. Get it into position, nice tight locking wraps. Alright, I'm going to take my thread, go behind the legs. All the way to the bend of the hook, where we're going to tie in our Peacock Hearl. I'm going to start off with 3 strands here and tie those in by the tips. And we can just break off the excess. There we go. Alright, taking our thread forward one last time. We'll make sure we get one last bite there in between the legs. And taking our thread up to the eye. Alright, let's go ahead and palmer on our Peacock Hearl now. We're going to do nice even touching wraps And we're going to fight these legs almost every step of the way. But with a little bit of practice, you find a nice rhythm, and it's not so bad. So these are going to be some warriors out there slaying some trout for some heroes. Some bona fide, legit survivors. One more birthday. Gotta love it. There's something very therapeutic about fly fishing. Really connect yourself with the environment, and that's what's so great about the sport. The hobby, the passion, the addiction. Alright, let's go ahead and lock down our Peacock here at the front. And we'll trim off our waist. Now this tag end that I left, I'm going to do some counter wraps of that Peacock. Nice big open spiral. We'll get them nice and even. Through the legs, this one will go in front. That leg, make it nice and even. And this will give that Peacock Hearl just a little bit of added life when the trout start hitting it. Alright, we'll secure that ribbing. Get my thread back up here. I don't want your eye to get too crowded. Alright, here's where the magic happens. We're going to go ahead and fold our body over. We'll secure it down here at the head. That's where the magic happens. Alright, we're going to go ahead and trim this to length. I'm going to trim the head about the same width as the body, nice and square up front. Alright, now we can add our racing stripe. Those 4 strands are just going to fold from the back to the front. And a couple of nice tight locking wraps. We'll do one more. Alright, let's go ahead and trim off our excess. Nice and close. And now for the wing. For the wing, it's just a little bit of dubbing. And I'm just going to go ahead and align those fibers. And the neat thing about this is when I give it a little bit of a twist, before I tie it on the wing, I give it that full twist and make the cancer survivors ribbon. So that's a neat little thing I like to know that's incorporated. Make that little loop. And we'll just get that locked in. And that gives the fly a little bit of added visibility. Go ahead and trim that off to length. And we'll come in with our 1, 2, 3 whip finish. One, two, three. It's easy as that. Cinch our thread down nice and tight and we'll trim it off. We'll go ahead and cut our legs to length now. That ought to do. And that ought to do. We'll go a little bit shorter in the front. Beautiful. Dress it up a little bit. And to give this a little bit of insurance policy, we're going to add just a little dab of head cement. This is Feathercraft's fly head cement. It's pro lacquer type. Guess what? It dries tough in seconds. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a little droplet on my bodkin, a smaller droplet, and just tuck that in there. And that thread will do a good job absorbing that in through the capillary action of the thread. So there you have it, folks. That is the CFR, Casting for Recovery. This is Sandy's Beetle. This one's for you, Sandy. We don't get to talk that often, but I do think about you often. You're one of my fishing inspirations. All right. Thank you for watching. Happy tying, and with this one, tight lines.